Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities. Secure
the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
Yeah, I just enjoy living here in Waco, the nice small town feel. After visiting Dallas last week and just dealing with traffic, I just love living here in the small town. So I just enjoy the small town feel here, supporting Waco with the university here and doing what we can to help the customers here. Just make sure you know who you're hiring before they come out. Sometimes cheaper is not always better.
That was Cory Witt. Today on the WACO Experience, an American story, my guests are Kat and Cory Witt, owners of Window Genie here in Waco. Window Genie is one of the home services franchise companies offered by Neighborly. More about them in a moment. I'm your host, D. Scott Smith. You can learn more about this program and sponsors and find links to the podcast version of this program by going to the WACOExperience.com. Let me thank our sponsors, White Bluffs Construction. You've probably seen the work of Seth DeMott and his team at places such as the Waco Waffle Company, custom building, home remodeling, and right now, get on the schedule to build your patio deck or pergola. Call Seth at 254-227-2002 and visit the website at whitebluffsconstruction.com. Healthcare insurance can be confusing. Monica Shannon of Texas Healthcare for You is our go-to for help with healthcare insurance. It's Medicare open enrollment until March 31st. Let Monica help you and your family. Call her today at 254-339-3421 and visit the website txhealthcareforyou.com. That's txhealthcare, the number 4 and the letter U.com. Biddy and Bowes Coffee offers hot and cold beverages, catering, and provides employment for people with disabilities. They have a conference room you can reserve at no cost. Drop in today at 110 Franklin in Waco. Chord Buddy is the world's best way to learn guitar. This Shark Tank winner is 100% U.S. made. This learning system will have you playing real music on a real guitar right away. Learn to play guitar today at chordbuddy.com. Comic Fest Waco is coming April 5th and will be held at University High School. This free and open to the public event is all about literacy. This event will be packed with well-known artists and authors. Comic books and graphic novels help our students learn to read. One of my neighbors here in Waco happens to be a company called Neighborly. Not only are the global headquarters here, Waco is where the company was founded as the Dwyer Group back in 1981. Neighborly is the world's largest home services company and offers 21 service brands. On the Neighborly website, we learned that Don Dwyer sold his convertible to buy a paper route to pay for college. That's painful. I also drive a convertible and I understand Mr. Dwyer's sacrifice. He learned the ins and outs of franchising when he purchased a franchise which sold management and motivational products, eventually becoming a senior leader for the parent company. Mr. Don Dwyer was quoted as saying that franchise ownership is the best way for the first-time entrepreneur to get started in business. Cory and Kat Witt are living that American dream of business ownership. In today's episode, we will hear about their story. We are back at the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce. D. Scott here, and I have got guests today from Window Genie.
Yes, Kat Witt and Cory Witt.
All right, Kat and Cory, Window Genie. Let's get right into this from the beginning because Window Genie is a franchise. It's a Neighborly franchise. Waco is the birthplace of Neighborly. So I think it's a great success story here for the community. But let's talk about what is Window Genie. How do people get a hold of you?
So Window Genie is a home services, and we do window cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, window film, and holiday lights. So in order to get a hold of us, we can go to our website. We actually have the ability to request a quote on our website, as well as give us a call at 254-300-2552, and our customer service rep will answer the phone. get some information from you, and we'll get our estimator out to you and get you on the schedule.
All right, Kat. So tell me, what's the website that people would go to?
windowgenie.com/WACO.
All right, windowgenie.com/WACO. That'll take you there. We've got the phone number. I like the Christmas lights thing, by the way.
All right, so holiday light season starts probably around in October. We're actually currently inputting our order for the next season. So it's already talk of town. We're already getting a hold of some other customers who have talked about going bigger for next year. We start in October. We really start advertising in July for that Christmas in July effect. We start putting up Christmas lights in October. We have a 10-week process basically of getting you on the books, putting them up, taking them down. There's a window of 10 weeks that we're just crazy busy, all holiday lights. We provide everything, so we install, maintain, take down, and store them for you for the next year. So we have about a 3 to 4 year program where all the lights are being reused. They get custom cut to your house and designed by us. We ask for your input, what you would like. We can do garland, wreaths, ridge lines, roof lines, ground lights, net lights for all your bushes. So we can do pretty much almost anything. We even have really big yard ornaments now, the opportunity to put there like 6 feet by 6 feet. If you would like to have that, we can do that as well.
All right, so this is a great way to look like the winner of the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Call you guys up, have you come in, bring the lights, install them, and then I don't even have to store them in the garage. They don't have to take up spot anywhere.
Nope, we store them away. We put your name, address, and we store them according to zip codes so that it's easy for us to install and take down for the next year. We diagram them after year 1, so we know exactly how the lights go up the next year, and we can make that a flawless process for you. It's one of the most stress-free things you can do during the season is just give us a call, and we'll come out there and do the rest of the work for you.
All right, so coming this summer, the fall, make sure you get on the schedule, windowgenie.com/WACO. Get on there, get the holiday lights. This is a way cool service. I was thinking just window cleaning. I'm already learning stuff. So this is great. I'm glad that you guys are here on the WACO Experience today. I don't like looking out dirty windows, dirty screens. So this is what I first thought of when I saw you guys. We met at the home show over at the Extraco Center. I don't like looking out dirty windows. So I was drawn to you guys. Plus it's a neighborly company, which I want to learn more about as well. Let's just talk about process of window cleaning for residential, commercial. What are you guys doing?
So we are mainly residential for window cleaning and all of our services, but we do offer commercial services as well. Predominantly, whenever you're looking at a residential, people don't realize how dirty their windows are until they're cleaned. And they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how dirty they were. Well, then you get on the schedule on a routine maintenance. You can go twice a year is the recommended from window manufacturers to keep the warranties for new built homes. If you live like on the lake or if you have a beautiful view, maybe 4 times a year is what you're wanting to do. So we can just get you on the schedule, get you on a regular rotation, and just make sure that your windows are always stay clean. We have a 3-step process that we do. We come in and we take your screens out, we wash your screens, we'll clean your seals and your tracks for you, interior and exterior window cleaning. Now, you may not need your interior window cleaning done every single time you get them done, but your exteriors are where the dirt and buildup is from the wind and all the outside stuff. So we do highly recommend that your exterior get cleaned every time we come out.
Yeah, this last weekend it was pretty windy and we were watching the dust blowing. Having the windows professionally done. So I had our windows done. I came home. The back door of our house, the dogs would always put their paws up and had glass in the window. I wasn't there when the windows were cleaned. I came home, I go to get the dogs out of the backyard. I thought they had broken the glass out of it. This is the difference between me cleaning the windows and having some professional do it. This is a great service that I've seen.
So unfortunately, when that does happen, we've had birds fly into windows because they don't know that there's a piece of glass there. So then we get a call back saying, hey, can you come touch up the window because the bird flew into it, which we're more than happy to do. But we also leave some glass cleaner behind for you. So it's called WG57. And so that if you do have dogs or small children, you can touch it up and it'll clean that right off right after.
All right, so that's good stuff. Let's talk about some of the other services that you have.
So we do offer gutter cleaning. Usually twice a year is what we would recommend on that, right after the leaves fall. Everybody's like, when is that a good time? Well, in Texas, it's kind of hard to have a good time to clean them out. It is good to go ahead and get them cleaned out to prevent any water damage in your roof, because if the gutters are clogged, then what will happen is they'll fill up with the water and it can actually seep in through the roof and into the attic, and you wouldn't know for a long period of time, and it can damage that. And then window film, one of the most instantaneous things that you can see as a change in light, we offer different types of window film as well as security film for homes and businesses and schools as well. Just get an extra layer of protection on there. And then pressure washing, that's also another instant gratification. I can see the change. And most people don't realize that your driveways, when you clean them, they say, oh my gosh, it's so different. We just have a flat surface cleaner with a pressure washer. The difference between us and some of the other companies in town is that we are fully insured on all of our services, as well as we have professional vans and our technicians are in uniform. We take our time with the pressure washing. We show you what the difference is before and after. Like, you can see it. It's amazing. So we always want to make sure that the customer is satisfied with what service we have performed, and so we always do a walk around at the end of their jobs as well.
When I was in college, I painted houses, and we ran the pressure washer. And it was very easy to do some damage with one of those when you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, with pressure washing, one of the things that a lot of what we have here is we have the limestone. So a lot of the homes are being built with that, and you see all this black mold and dark dirt coming out. Well, limestone is very porous. So that dirt sits in there, and we use a chemical that helps us clean that out. And you'll see it run out, and then when it rains, you'll see it run out again, because it continues to work as it's been in there, because it's so porous, the limestone is, that it just keeps it all in there. But once you start clearing it out, and once you use that chemical, it does clean it out, and it's like almost new again. So recommendation on pressure washing a home is about once a year, especially if you're seeing mold and mildew grow regularly, or if you live near the lake, because that just gets on there as well, the algae and stuff.
And we've been in some cooler weather. It's been down into the teens, and then the next day it's 75. But summer is coming, and it's going to be hot and sunny. Let's talk a little bit more about the window film.
So we have different types of window film. We only do it on residential and commercial. We do not do cars. We get that question a lot. So it's only on the buildings. It's flat glass. We have anything from what we call a Clear 85 or Clear 80, which basically looks like a clear glass, but it just provides an extra layer of the UV protection. And then we can go as dark as like a 10. So it's almost like a privacy. Now, the difference between the tent and what people are always like, oh, I just want privacy in my home. That's absolutely possible with it, but at night, almost every tent that you have, you're going to be able to see in if there is light in the house. So curtains are still recommended if you're wanting that tent, but they can't see in during the day. And that's where a lot of people say, oh, I just don't want people seeing in during the day because, we may not be home. We want to make sure that our stuff is protected. But we have that, and that takes care of like how much sunlight comes in. It can reduce glare on like your TV if you're watching football. It can keep that heat out as well and reflect it. So there's a lot of different types of window film, and we have sample books. So if we'll ask you what your goal in mind is it to keep heat out? Is it to reduce glare? Is it to make sure that you have secure, security film basically? And then we'll bring you a couple of samples and say, okay, pick from these, which one do you prefer? The reason we only do 2 or 3 and we ask all those questions is because if we hand you a book that says there's 100 different samples in here, I don't know. So we want to make sure that we ask those questions of what your need is so that we can provide specifically for that need.
Yeah, it does. It makes a difference to ask questions and understand, because I have no clue about this, although I do know that my wife's couch will fade with the UV if it's in the window, and being able to protect her furniture, I can be the hero that way. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely, and I've seen that with like when customers have like grand pianos, or if they have artwork in their house or their floors. You move a couch and you see the carpet that it's different colors. So this helps with that as well. With the Texas heat coming in, that is one of the biggest reducers. It helps with your energy efficient, helps kind of keep your AC unit not running all the time. And in Texas, in Central Texas, it's always hot in the summer. I mean, last summer was mild, and I think we hit 100 a couple of times, but not too many, so it still is a hot summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do to help mitigate some of those costs. What other kind of services have I missed that you're offering?
Yeah, window cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing, holiday lights, and window film. So 5 core services. Right. We are starting to look into the permanent lighting sector as well. So we've started training on that. We have a couple of vendors for us. We noticed that it's getting pretty big here in Waco. A lot of people are requesting it. Even some Christmas light customers that we have, they're like, hey, do y'all do permanent lighting? So we did get that launched last October through our corporate office. And so we're all starting to get into that scene as well now.
And so tell me about permanent lighting.
That's going to be Cory.
So permanent lights are basically just installed on your house. They stay up year-round. They do come with a 5-year warranty on the materials and on the install part too for the labor. It basically, each individual bulb is on 12-inch spacing, and each individual bulb can be whatever color you want it to be. There's thousands of color combinations. You can make them chase, fade, twinkle, whatever you want. So you can do, starting in Halloween, you could do like an orange and purple, and keep it orange and white for Thanksgiving, and then you can transfer over to Christmas colors, and then you could go to St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's colors, and then after that, if you just want to go to like just the red, white, and blue for your Labor Days and July 4th and Memorial Days holidays. So or if you just want to support your local college, town, or school, you could put it on your school colors for a while. It's all programmable from your phone. You can turn them off, turn them on, and you don't even have to be home. You could be at the airport and just have them be ready to turn on when you get home that evening.
So these permanent lights, they're LED programmable lights. I can control it with my phone. I can decide what I want it to look like. Are these the ones I've seen like under the eaves of houses?
Yes. So Govee is kind of one of the cheaper options that's come out. A lot of people are buying those just from Amazon or Costco, things like that. So that's one of the options that kind of face down. We do have a second option that they're trying to push. It's a little bit more higher end of an option. We install a track onto the front of the house if possible. Now sometimes with the gutter system, we can install it on the front. That way on the front it looks more like Christmas lights. And then the lights get installed on inside that, and then a cover goes over that. So they're a little bit more higher end, where the Govee is just basically a strip of lights with no type of protection on them. So, I mean, ours still comes with a 5-year warranty, where I think the Govee only has like a 2-year warranty on the materials. But those are more of a soft washing down the side of the wall, where our higher end one is tried to mount outwards more like a Christmas light.
This is a great way to just kind of upgrade the look of the house. A simple process. So let's talk about your path into owning your own franchise. And Kat and Cory is our guests today on the WACO Experience, an American Story. Before we got started, before we turned the microphones on, I mentioned that the American dream has historically been home ownership, which is great. But I also think it's really being able to have your own business. So let's talk about owning the franchise. And what does that mean?
Our journey to franchise ownership was, we had our son, and about a year after he was born, I was like, I need help at home. He was running a bread route for a long time, which meant 3 a.m. mornings, and sometimes it was 5 or 6 in the evening coming home, depending on long days and short days. So I was taking care of kids, and I was just like, I need help. We already had 2 other girls, and so we started looking into owning our own business. His mother actually works for Neighborly. They had just acquired Window Genie that November of 16, and so we started looking in January of 17. We thought we were going to be put on the back burner because somebody else was interested in it, and they ended up falling through. So in February, at the end of February, we flew to Cincinnati, did Discovery Day with the whole team, the founder, Rick Nonell, and decided that this was the route we wanted to go, but we had to wait for approval on them. About 2 weeks later, we got a call, and they were like, well, what makes you think that you can run this business? And I said, I have a background in business. I went to school for it. I've kind of always been a social butterfly. I'm not going to let this fail. I was like, I will do whatever it needs to take to make this work, and I will make sure that he does too, because he's the workhorse. I like to be out networking, and he likes to do the work. So it was like kind of a perfect combination. So we got granted the franchise, and May 17th, he went to training in Cincinnati, and then, March 17th, and then May 8th, we actually opened for business in 2017. So we've been open almost 8 years. We started with 1 employee and Cory, and then about 2 years later, I jumped in and came on full-time as far as with Window Genie, and kind of the rest is history on that aspect.
And how many employees altogether now?
We have 5 employees total.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So when you get a franchise with Neighborly, you're looking at a geographic area that you're responsible for.
Yes, so they sell the franchises in territories. So we own all of Waco. I believe it's just McLennan County and a few surrounding towns. But then we have like a neighboring Window Genie who owns Temple, Belton, Killeen, Round Rock, and Georgetown. So we actually have, I think, 11 owners in the state of Texas, if not 15 now. It's spread out pretty far. The next one going north is going to be Fort Worth. So we have a couple in Dallas and Fort Worth as well.
Why did you choose this particular franchise? Because Neighborly has quite a number of options.
So with Neighborly being in the backyard of Waco, there weren't a lot of open options here in McLennan County, and we wanted to stay here. So with Window Genie being the newest concept, there wasn't one here yet, so that's the one that we had went with.
All right, so that makes sense. We talked earlier too, and you worked at Neighborly, is that correct?
Yes, I worked there for about 3 years.
Yeah, so tell me about your experience working in the global headquarters, because if you're driving down University Park's road there, you'll see their big sign, Global Headquarters, Neighborly.
So I was running Window Genie during COVID. Cory had went back to work because we just didn't know what was going to happen. As far as home services, we were like, everything's shut down. What do we do? Well, running a bread route, that's kind of essential. So he went back to work and worked for a friend for a while, and I ran the business. And I still had 2 employees. I actually went back to work part-time so I could continue to pay my employees instead of taking a salary. And then they were very grateful, so they stayed with us the whole time, which was amazing. And we did really well that year. All of the home services did, actually, because everybody was home and they were realizing things that needed to be fixed. I was talking to the president of Window Genie, who actually happened to be a former owner as well. We were talking about me coming on board, and I became what they call the Sure Start business coach. So I came on board to help new owners who bought Window Genie open their business and launch and go through all the trials. So who better to do that than somebody who's lived it? So over the last 3 years, I had opened, I believe it was about 30 franchises across the states. And I mean, it's just a matter of encouraging them, being a coach to them, walking them through what they needed to do while supporting them and saying, hey, I'm with Neighborly, but I want your bottom line to be good, but I want Neighborly's top line to be good as well. So it helps and benefits both. About 2.5 years into working with Neighborly, I went with what we called the hub at the time. And so I worked with 19 different concepts, which is what they own, but over 800 owners individually from the state of Texas and all the surrounding states. And my job there was to get them to all work together to help keep their marketing down and their customer acquisition costs down. Because customers these days, with Google going up and LSAs going up, it just costs so much more to acquire a customer. So if I have a customer and Mr. Electric has a customer and we just need to be able to refer them, that's so much cheaper than it is to go through like a BNI or networking or even just Google whenever you get that lead. So, I mean, our customer acquisition at one point was over $200 per customer, which is crazy high. But if I can utilize my fellow Neighborly concepts in the area and we can share those, which is what we did at the home show, because we had AirServe, Precision, 5-Star, and us there, so we all had a booth together and we were going back and forth and taking people down. Well, we split all that cost. It kept our bottom line a little bit more in sight, but we were increasing top line sales by selling to all of the Neighborly brands.
You weren't kidding when you said you would do whatever it takes to make the business successful.
Whatever it takes.
You took a job to pay your employees.
Yes.
To keep the business going.
100%. So
you were definitely living what you had said you were going to do when you were looking into the franchise. And you mentioned BNI just a moment ago. And for folks that aren't aware of that, BNI, Business Networking International, is an international networking group. It's a leads group. And people pay a pretty good fee to be a member of that group. You share referrals, right?
Yes.
One of the concepts that BNI talks about is these groups of different businesses that are compatible. And this is really what you found in Neighborly, that these are all home services. So you're not looking at a food franchise and a window franchise and something else that's not associated with home ownership. So this really makes sense that you're able to share referrals, customers, and that if I do business as a homeowner with Window Genie, then I can be assured that if I have an HVAC system issue, I can call up my Window Genie person and say, hey, we work together. Who would you recommend?
Absolutely. And we've done that several times, and that was my goal with working with the hub, was getting them to utilize the other Neighborly concepts in their area. Now, every area doesn't have all of the concepts, which is perfectly fine, and that's where BNI comes in play. Say, hey, who do you know, so I can refer them. But why spend money at BNI on the same thing that you're going to do for this if it's just something that you need as this? So we would do like the networking lunches, and we would be able to talk, and we would say, okay, what can we do if we're going to do a magazine shoot or something. But Neighborly is considered the hub for home services. So it's one of the largest, or it is the largest franchise of home services in the U.S. Our former COO, Mary Thompson, actually is now the CEO of BNI.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love it. I love it. And going past the building over there, the global headquarters, there's a spot along the river that looks like apartments.
So there are 6 buildings in that area. They have the Lone Star building, they have the Neighborly building, there's a training facility or training lodge, the Ground Skies facilities, Rainbow building, and the Riverside building. So there's several different buildings, and so I mentioned that there's 19 concepts for Neighborly. About half of them are housed here, and half of them are housed in Las Colinas, Irving, Texas. That's just where a lot of our offices are and our training lodges.
So they have some beautiful offices there.
Yes, they just remodeled quite a few of them. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful offices overlooking the river. So that's always a perk, right?
It is. You just get to look out. And I mean, I'll be honest, when I was working down there, I would go running on lunch. Our previous CEO, Mike Bidwell, who passed away a couple years ago, he would always do what we called or he did a 5K. He would do the walk along the park. So last September, we actually did a 5K in his honor, and we did the exact path that he always took. So we'd leave the building, go down to the river and cross the bridge, and go down back on Martin Luther King, turn around and come all the way back. It was a pretty good way to honor him because he was definitely a fitness person, loved walking, running, and biking.
Just quite a history. And we won't have time to get into all the history of Neighborly, but thanks for a little glimpse into that WACO company. And I really want to finish up talking about the future of your business. What do you see as the future of Window Genie here in Waco, your particular franchise?
So we set goals every year. We have a franchise business coach, just like a lot of the other franchises. So our goals are always to be profitable. We want to reach the community. So we want to let the community know that we're here, we're around. We were actually voted #1 with Locals Love Us for the first time last year, which was fantastic. We've always been #2, so we finally surpassed that #1. So we're starting to get our name out there. People are starting to know us, but customer service is our biggest thing. We want to make sure that they're taken care of. We want to make sure that there's customer satisfaction. And we want them to know that we'll do what it takes to make it right. So if we need to come out because you see streaks, let us know. We'll come out and fix that for you.
I love it. Cory, what's the last words that you have that you would like to share with folks about living in Waco, being a business owner here, having your own franchise, having employees? And by the way, congratulations, because those are jobs that are created because you have this business. Those jobs wouldn't exist if you didn't.
Yeah, I just enjoy living here in Waco, the nice small town feel. After visiting Dallas last week and just dealing with traffic, I just love living here in the small town. I grew up in Crawford, graduated from Crawford, still reside in Crawford, and just commute back and forth to Waco to do our work. So I just enjoy the small town feel here, supporting Waco with the university here and doing what we can to help the customers here. Just a lot of people don't realize that these services are actually available out there. I know there's a lot of people that do pressure washing around here, but they're not going to be insured like we are and show up in wrapped vehicles with uniforms. So just make sure you know who you're hiring before they come out. Sometimes cheaper is not always better.
The WACO Experience, an American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.